Without realizing it, do you know you may today belong to a group that is destroying your African spirit? You can ask, can my thoughts change the course of events and change my reality? Yes, if you belong to groups, or if on your own you nurse dominating thoughts that destroy your consciousness. Which groups do that? They include, among many, political ideologies that offers false hope, religious groups like Catholics, Christians, Islamic groups, and many other religions that are not of melanin dominant support, like black Hebrew Israelites that hates so-called Hamites, and black Muslims that do not really go deeper into their religions, and the majority of modern thinkers that base their thinking on ideologies like evolution, atheism, and other biases. Modern educators and many other groups and gurus like Sadhguru, and those that do not teach you to reverence your righteous ancestors and call upon the divinities. If you are under such influences, definitely you are operating under the possession of an anti-African spirit, and you are a disgrace to your own ancestors, your own naturalness. We need to exercise this anti-African spirit on a daily basis. But how do we do that? Through cultural practices that are full of African spirituality. Our own original consciousness that filters our thinking or perception can be changed and used to codify any reality. So when we accept Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, or even tolerate such religions within our environment, it will hijack our divine natural freedom to print our own melanin dominant or African reality and substitute it within our consciousness by implanting a Jesus, a Jewish Torah, Islamic hadiths, and the culture. If you read our book before the God fiction took over, the spirit soul of the earth, you realize the revelation in it of how this template that substitutes your own reality operates. You can read this book today on Kindle or order your copy from Amazon, and then you realize that the human acts and actions is empowered by certain spirits reconstructed in African consciousness and reality. And the African reality today is not our own. Let us consider two groups that affect us powerfully. First, the political, and then the religious groups. There are many other groups and movements that promote a pervasive anti-African spirit. But if the principles that we share today can be used as a standard, you can be able to take that group and that group are promoting an anti-African spirit into you. This is a map of Africa 1840 before the Berlin Conference. The Berlin Conference has very powerful anti-African spirit inside it. The effects of this is felt today via the artificial borders and their impact psychologically in many Africans today that boast of national sovereignty or nationalism, as well as their own love for the continent being diminished by their love for the borders or the countries where they come from. So they say, I am a Nigerian, and they are very happy. I'm Ghanaian, and they are very happy. I'm from Niger, they are very happy. I'm a Zimbabwean, they are very happy about that. I'm Kenyan, they are excited about that, not realizing that it's an anti-African spirit in them that is sustaining the Euro borders and the paddocks demarcated for them to live in Africa or on earth. So they carry that identity everywhere. When you come to South Africa now, our own brothers and sisters in South Africa and many other places, of course, but dominant by South Africa, which we are giving as an example here, you will find that there is a group of people, young people, calling themselves Operation Dudula. They are claiming that they are driving out foreigners, and the foreigners they infer to are melanin dominant human beings. They don't target Europeans, they don't target Asians, they don't target mulattoes, they target melanin dominant human beings that look exactly like them. They call them makwerekwere, a pejorative term that they use for foreigners from the rest of Africa. It's an offensive term, a demeaning term that they use for anyone else who does not come within these borders. Forgetting that the people they are saying they are South Africans and they love and cherish their leaders, persecuting their own brothers and sisters, their leaders were hijacked by these Boers through the meetings that they have and the independence that they get. So there are other effects of political engineered systems through borders that promote an anti-African spirit within our leaders and all of our melanin dominant human beings that promote democracy and vote for these leaders. It's the Berlin Conference, creating poverty and economic inequality in a continent that is the richest on earth, also causing the lack of access to education and healthcare. These are anti-African spirits and anti-African leaders and individuals and institutions and organizations that causes political instability and corruption, conflicts and civil wars, climate degradation and deforestation, pollution of any manner that you can think of, food insecurity and malnutrition, what they promote, allowing diseases to be imported into Africa through food. Yet we can grow our own food. We have the capacity to do that. Yet we give resources to the Chinese and foreigners and refuse our own individual melanin dominant human beings to go into business. Religious conflicts, believing in Islam, in Judaism, in Christianity, and fighting and destroying and killing each other over that, causing forced migrations and displacement due to such conflict and poverty. These systems are all anti-African, operating on an anti-African spirit. Yet Africans all over the world, we want to look now at the religious aspect, are very, very religious, more than groups they found, or more than groups with the gods they worship. They hijack the gods of their colonizers and slavers, and they worship them more than the owners. This religiosity is more of an anti-African spirit inside that African. The Pew Research Center here proves that by any measure and many measures, African Americans are more religious than whites and Latinos. Any measure believe in God, a deity, a tribal deity, 83%. Others is 59%. They say religion is very important, and the religion they talk about is the non-productive religion that tells them that everything will be good in heaven, promoting an anti-African spirit. A clear historical review of Christianity and Islam will open your mental curtains, and by your own willpower you are able to force out this anti-African spirit induced in you when you were converted into these religions. For truly, the answer to how you can participate and practice and love and cherish a religion that was beaten into your ancestors is by being possessed by a colonizer spirit. In 1452, Pope Nicholas V charged Alfonso of Portugal with a Christian duty to enslave melanin dominant human beings. It is the first recorded international edict to literally grant a Christian nation the right to promote, enforce, and heavily profit from slave trading. It was done by a Christian. It was done by Christians. Decades later, another Christian, a Pope Alexander VI, beckoned Christian monarchs to conquer natives and other populations in the name of the Catholic Church. And today you will find melanin dominant people in the Catholic Church. Under such clear evidence, how can anyone of melanin dominant race convert into Catholicism or Christianity? How can any African leader or politician or one who has read history welcome and embrace the Pope in Africa? How can any melanin dominant human being name their kids Alfonso or Nicholas V? The answer is that all these people are operating under the heavy influence of an anti-African spirit, just like those of Operation Dudula. You can see the Operation Dudula here chasing other melanin dominant human beings, but here you can see him smiling and loving Euro-Gentile. And here the leaders of Operation Dudula with whites. And after that they go and chase away melanin dominant human beings, just like this youngster worshipping and loving the Pope kissing his own. Look at that. The Catholic Church forced their views on melanin dominant human beings to convert them to Christianity. The conversion was by war, violent dehumanization, and destabilization. White people justified this, the enslavement and the dehumanization of melanin-dominant human beings, because of the Catholics, because of Christianity, that taught them that these black people have no soul. By dehumanizing them, capturing them, and forcing Jesus into them, it was putting a soul inside. You can see the Catholic priest here burning our own shrine, here beating up Jesus into a melanin-dominant human being. At the end of the day, Africans were deceived and are still being deceived today by modern African preachers to deny and ditch their ancestors and worship a white Jesus and ancestors of Jesus named in the genealogies of the Bible. Why name them if you do not reverence them? Yet Christianity engages in these activities and rituals, West rituals, based on cannibalism and eating the day. Their God is a tribal God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Men and women cannot see that. And at the same time, they are being told to receive a spirit. And that is the spirit that is replacing their African spirit, because their bodies, they are being deadened through so-called born again. Behold, the old is gone, the new has arrived. That's an anti-African spirit. Hebrew Israelite religion accepts slavery as part of blessings and cursings of Deuteronomy, or in the Leviticus 26, Deuteronomy 28. Their solution is to go to the 613 laws, and that those laws induces an anti-African spirituality. Hence, they are able and capable of hating a Hamite who looks just like them for events that the same melanin-dominant human being they hate went through, even West, through colonization. They can't read their Bible, they don't understand it. Knowing how to identify an anti-African spirit helps us detox our consciousness. And in detecting these sellouts, modern slave traders, and those with foreign spirits, we know who can deceive us. And when we know that these people that are speaking eloquently about Africa, about being black, about Africanness, and castigating Europeans and stuff like that, and slavery, yet they practice the same ways of these enslavers and read the books they were given by these enslavers, the Quran and the Bible, we know that these people are deceivers. It doesn't matter how they speak about Africa and slavery. Now, here is a crucial test, a spirit test you can do and perform on your own. Before we conclude this, we want you to ask yourself, am I on my own acting with an anti-African spirit? Or I belong to Christianity, Islam, Hebrew Israelism, and other religions or philosophies, and these may be destroying my African spirit? Ask yourself that question. If you do not ask and answer these questions, these sure tests, the anti-African spirit is in charge. It has blocked you from asking this question. If you ask this question and answer it, you are a recovered melanin-dominant human being. And then you can be able to look at the plethora of all the giants that have arisen amongst us and ask that same question. But remember, you must have a true understanding of what is a true African spirit. A true African spirit will not permit you to embrace a political ideology, a religion like Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, or anything else that dehumanized, stripped our ancestors of their freedom, culture, and dignity, and reduced them to mere commodities to be bought and sold at any point. The brutal conditions of today, with their profound impact on our physical and psychological well-being, emanates from these groups and continue to affect us this day to day, tomorrow, and forevermore, until the time we cut them off from our lives. Now, you can answer the question, did these leaders promote an anti-African spirit or an African spirit? You can see here, he was a Christian worshipping a European Jesus. Martin Luther King. You can see Malcolm X bowing down and loving the Prince of Saudi Arabia, a pale Arab whose people enslaved millions and millions of melanin-dominant human beings. Even today, they hate melanin-dominant people. And here, one of the eloquent and most well-spoken leader in Africa, Robert Gabriel Mugabe, receiving mass from a European He was a Jesuit, a Catholic until the day he died. He said, I am a Jesuit until the day I die. He carried a rosary in his pocket. And lastly, but not least, Brother AFRIKan. Brothers and sisters, spew out any anti-African spirit from your soul, because we are in trouble. Feel free to share this video widely. Subscribe as well as email us on john@marifado.com. Ask us any questions, give us any suggestions that can help others. You can visit our website www.marifado.com. By His grace we shall ascend higher than all and dwell near the chasm. Amen. May we see where we are going, and may we know where we come from. Your Manager Topi, Preacher Rabbi Elem Dumizulukunken Mjakanja, saying, may you thrive and replace, if you have an anti-African spirit, with an African spirit. Amen.